So I was pressuring. So I got it.
Hell yeah.
3 days before.
All right,
Awesome.
I think everybody's finally here.
Right. You sure? I don't
Yeah.
see Laura. I mean, I don't see
Beth's up the top next to me,
Yep.
and I don't see Trish either.
I do not see Trish.
I see Trish. Are you there, Trisha? She's on my screen.
She's on mine too.
Beth.
Okay. Okay. As long as we can hear her. I can't hear her. Just have her say so.
I'm asking her to unmute.
Oh, that's you, Trish, right?
There we
Okay.
go. She's in there.
I see you.
Do you want to do view like this, or how do you want to view it?
I wanted it in the middle.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Being 7:10, I'd like to open the meeting for the Bellingham Board of Health for September 6, 2023. Myself, Vin 40 Chair, Vice Chair Trish LeClaire, Member Rick Gilberti, and potentially future member to the Board of Health. Yeah. Anyway, and Dylan Levante, candidate for Board of Health agent. So did everybody review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, there was one correction to be made, Laura, that you put Rick's name in place of Mike.
And she did make the changes.
Okay, good. Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as amended for the August 15th meeting.
Yes.
And
Go to 2 meetings.
for the special meeting on August 23rd.
Okay. Have a second, on that, Trish?
Trish said she can't
I-
hear us.
yeah. I can
Okay.
hear you now. Sorry, yeah, I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay. Okay, health agent position, discussion, vote, new agent position, so. Dylan had come in and interviewed on the 6th, was it, whatever, yeah. So, anyway, and, so we're at this point, we need someone to make a motion to appoint Dylan Levante, the new Bellingham agent, health agent, so.
I make a motion that we make Dylan Labonte the health agent for the town of Bellingham.
Second, Trish?
I second that. Yep,
Okay,
I
all those in
second
favor
that.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay, so,
Congratulations, Dylan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
So-
you very much.
one thing I kind of think I think it's appropriate to throw it in now, I'll kind of have,
Are we sure that he wants to accept the position?
oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay,
Yes,
Yes.
I accept. I accept.
Accept.
Sorry,
That's
I
right.
graciously accept. My
Okay.
fault.
And before you get into your thing, I just want to say that all of the applicants basically were about equal
Right.
in their qualifications. Every one of them would still have to go to training
correct.
for the position. My thinking on it is I would much rather give it to a Bellingham resident than somebody from Spencer.
Right.
You know the town, you've lived in the town, you know some of the players already. I think it would just be an easier move to go for.
And
So
echoing that, when the health agent's on duty, essentially, let's say it's like an emergency, fire department, police department, other departments.
Mhm.
If you're further away than, the outskirts of Bellingham, it usually means a member has to show up, or the chair, if the chair's, whoever the chair is, or a member. And a lot of times that happens, and it's agreed, it's better.
Yeah.
Especially in the wintertime, when you have to have someone commuting from 51-minute, 40-something miles. Good chance your agent gets in an accident, maybe worse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
it's not that you can't, how's that adage go? More accidents happen within 25 miles.
Yeah, yeah.
So, anyway, so, what I want to do is I need a motion from somebody. I'd like to entertain this motion to authorize the chair and acting health agent to facilitate the duties of training the new health agent. I think it's appropriate, I've dedicated 29 years of my, let's say, life to the Bellingham Board of Health. I'm highly trained in most aspects, if not all aspects, of the Board of Health agents' duties, laws that relate to that. I have a medical background, and so on and so on. So when the chair is unavailable, then at this point, for the training purpose, it would be Steve Donatelli, the assisting acting agent, which technically for this aspect of this authorization, I will state, well, that's that's what I want someone to make a motion to. So you want to read it, or that's fine. Yeah. It is what it is. Anyway. There's good reason for this, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna be short on words.
Sounds good.
That was a motion to authorize what, Vinny? I couldn't hear you.
It's a motion to authorize myself, the chair, and the acting health agent to set up all the training for the new agent, In other words, I will delegate the duties, like Steve will take care of perk tests and soil evaluations, complaints, septic system stuff, and anything else will either be handled by me in training Dylan or whoever I designate. Let's say I'm out of commission for a day, and today's the day we're having an inspection on something in Bellingham, either a complaint or a septic inspection. It is my baby. I joined the Board of Health for one reason in 1995. It was because the state of Massachusetts and wasn't too smart when they said what they were going to do with septic systems as part of the new law. And I said, they did change it because there was a lot of, let's say, intervention by certain people, one of myself included, and DEP, to have the legislature delegate the duties to 351 towns, boards of health. Because the experts in the towns are the people who live in the town, work in the town. And if they don't have a Title V background, they can go get one. But they're in their town. Nobody's going to tell you, at least in my world, in Boston or in the legislature, they don't know anything about septic system. I can pretty much say every senator.
All right, so I want to make a
So
motion
Vinny,
to authorize.
so wait, hold on. So you want him to make a motion that you're gonna train him, you and Steve?
Yes, but the point is, I'm going to be delegating how and the training goes. It's pretty much straightforward. It's what I'm doing already, and what Steve's doing already. It's just that the authorization will come from me to Steve to Dylan, and that's the way I think it needs to be.
Yeah, I think whoever can, give him the training that he needs, obviously.
Right. In other words, most of the
But
training.
yeah, I think most of the training would be from you because you know the system and stuff. And then Steve would come after. And but wherever options he gets to be trained is, whatever's available is what he'll just go with, right? Do we have
Right,
to
no, that's what I'm saying. Let's say
or-
I'm unavailable on Wednesday and Laura gets a complaint or Laura there's an inspection. If I'm unavailable, then Steve will do it as long as he can do it. If not, it'll get postponed. But my feelings is no contractor, no resident should wait for anything to be addressed by the Board of Health. It's not right. People in this town, look to the Board of Health to take care of things that affect groundwater, affect public health. And I don't believe you should have to wait for an inspection.
Okay. So we're
That's it.
making a motion. We're just making a motion on how the training will go so that he can get, the best learning that he can get, being a new health agent. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to understand that.
Okay, thanks. So either you or Rick.
I make a motion that the chairman, acting health agent, will be the facilitator of the duties for the new health agent, and in his absence, it would go to Steve
Donatelli.
Donatelli.
Okay. Second on that, Trish?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, abstained, so carried. Thank you. Okay, so next thing is, tobacco agent updates. Robbie, are you there? Okay,
He
I
said he
think
was
the
gonna
next
be
step,
here.
just
Yeah,
so
I sent him all the
he needs to go to
information
see
and
personnel.
asked him if he was gonna.
Beth, yeah, Beth, one thing, sorry about that. Do you want to weigh in what Dylan needs to do tomorrow?
Congratulations. What you're going to want to do is reach out to Melissa Paquette, and her phone number is 508-657-2801. And she'll set up the appointment for you to do paperwork. You'll have to go for a physical. She'll take care of that. Your appointment will go before the board on the 18th, I think is when they meet. The select board. Vinny, I think it'd be nice if you
Oh,
came.
absolutely. Okay.
And then you'll be appointed by the board. And you'll have to, while you go through the pre-employment with Melissa, we'll do a Corey, a sorry, Hep B, right, Vinny?
Yes, Hep B.
Okay.
Beth, one quick question though. The Board of Health appoints the agent.
Yeah, but the select board, they recommend it also.
Okay, fine, okay. It's a COLA. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Okay,
And when you meet with Melissa, she'll tell you all the documents that you'll need to bring. Okay,
and do we have a date for the select board meeting? Is it,
I think it's the 18th.
18th? Okay, I'll make a note of that. Okay, fine.
And Vinny, you'll need to give me the details as far as the salary.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so we can talk tomorrow.
Okay, we can. Thank you. So, let's see. Maybe it's right in the package. Let me take a look at, tobacco agent update. So Robbie did contact me, on a few things. Okay. So what happens, I guess, Rob did a, inspection and, New Belcorp Express Mart, suspension date was 6/1/2023. The new suspension day is 9/5 through 9/24. What we do with our tobacco agent is there's a 3-year window, and the first offense, I may not get it perfectly, but first offense is $1,000 fine and no suspension. The second one, I think, 3,000 and a week suspension. And then the third is a 30-day suspension and a $5,000 fine. Those were a little less in the old days.
Yeah, they were 100 to 300, 500, right?
Well,
Or something around there.
Yeah, they're actually, the 5 is I think 3.
Yeah.
What happened was, the suspension was always 30. But what happened was when the state went to 21, the governor's council and the, I don't know, say the DPH said, we're going to just really amp the fines up. So during the COVID process, post-COVID, they were sort of double fines. And then the DOR came in. If you weren't maintaining your tax license to it, then they weren't receiving their estimated payments. They slashed your license. And then the town had to remove your license. And then there was an extra fine for that. So it's like, it was pretty brutal. I'm saying it was dry, but it was just a point that, 21 was not only an age change, the whole structure of fines to suspension they got serious, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't stop people from smoking. So, so anyway, so I guess we're just going to approve that new suspension date for Express Mart at 270 North Main Street. So that suspension will go from 9/5/2023 to 9/24/2023. So normally what happens, Robbie will go down and make sure all the tobacco has been removed. What's today? Like 6.
The 6. So
So it was all removed last night at either 12:01 or earlier in the evening. And if they have a humidor, they cover it with a bag. And, cause they have to leave it plugged in, once you ruin it, $1,000 tobacco.
Yep.
So, and then they can put it back on the,
The
either
25th.
midnight or the morning of 9/24. 9/25.
125.
Yeah,
Yep.
9/25.
Okay.
So that's the way that works, just for updating you in that, if you didn't already know. Okay, so update on food establishment inspections. Let me just throw that into, one other thing on that. The health agent does supermarkets, which I believe is 4 times a year, but it's intense. There's so many entities within that.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna say that, Robbie needs to go out there with you,
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay on it, but I'm just saying Robbie's better at it.
Oh, my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you do new openings of a building, like a new establishment selling food. And then he does re-inspection, so it's not a problem there, and schools.
Yep.
Now, Laura and Michelle have already done, since the survey, they've already done the pre-inspection with the building, with fire department of the school entity
Yeah.
is.
Like
Set up,
entryways, exits, all that.
Right, but no, they did the kitchen, everything was,
Oh, okay.
clean, ready to go, but there's no food. So
Okay.
within the month that they're operating in September, they will go do a full-blown inspection of the kitchens. As they're
So
operating.
Vinny,
Yes,
I did talk to Robbie this week, and I think he said he wanted to take Laura and Michelle out. And
yes, we
whoever
talked
that
too.
health agent was that we picked, he would take them out too to do
Perfect,
inspection. So that way, if for some reason he's not able to do it, then we know that they can do it.
Right.
So we back up.
Yeah.
So I did talk to him about that. I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna be on, but
we did talk too, but I didn't get that Tuesday date, but that's good. So that's a good thing. So anyway, what we
Yeah,
have is
and
all the restaurants listed here.
I
inspection.
wanted you guys to look at the list because the ones that are highlighted are the ones that have not been done yet this year.
Okay. So, are those highlighted in white or in,
No, the
Gray.
dark ones.
the dark ones? Okay,
The white
So-
ones have been done, the dark ones have not.
okay, so as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of entities that have not been done. And one other thing I added when I was talking to Robbie, both Trish and Laura, was when Michelle and I went and did the Bellingham Day mobile caterers. We also went to Plum Tomato, and everything looked really, really good, except the thing that threw me off, you have a manufactured date on hot sauce, tomato sauce, mustard,
Yeah. Condiments
ketchup,
and all that.
and all those condiments, and I don't know what the date is. If I see manufactured date, I'm going, what's the expiration? Robbie said it varies. Most of them end of 1 year. So there was one product, I don't remember, big jar, and it was ending, it's ended now. So it was ending at the end of August. And I said to Michelle, well, it's not expired. And the guy said, everything's a year. So Robbie said he would go out with Dylan and with you guys just to redo just those condiments. That's a good word. In that restaurant. But other than that, by the way, they've gotten tremendous raves. It is not the same owner as what was it, Primo Pizza or whatever it was. But it was very clean.
So
Everything
that's
was cooked.
okay. I was wondering where it was, but that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the place across from the post office.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Laura. We need to get these things done. Maybe if Robbie goes out Tuesday, you can knock some of these out. And he was back to work and then not back to work because of he's having double sessions with therapy, whatever you want to call it. So
And I hate to sound like a broken record, but they do need to go and permitize. Michelle and I have been using it. And
Right,
it's
right.
going to be working.
I agree.
It's important.
Dylan will do that, and Robbie will, if he hasn't put him in there. I think you echoed this. He needs to get the records to you guys, and you can enter him in. I mean, if you don't mind. I just said, we gotta get it done. If he can do it on the laptop like Michelle was doing, I thought that was pretty easy. I'm not a computer guy, but, you know, the younger people are, they should be able to handle it. So we will, well, let's say, I don't know if I'll be around, but Tuesday, why don't you guys set up, Dylan, yourself, Michelle, and Robbie, go out there and start hitting the list. You can go by A through Z, or you can start in the middle. I don't know. I like to start on the top of things because you can cross them off easier.
Yeah, just
And there's less on page 2. So you might as well start on page 1, which is pretty much not too good. I can only say one thing. We're lucky we're not having people doing shoddy operations, because if someone gets to the hospital with something they have to pump their stomach or an illness, I can tell you right now, hospital doctor is not going to be nice. They're going to go crazy, and the Board of Health Authority is to ensure that this doesn't happen. You know, it's to inspect. So we've been negligent in the inspection, so we'll just leave it at that. But illnesses do come up, and you know, you can't plan for those, but we need to get them done. So, okay, so that's it. Okay, new business. Bellingham Middle School treatment of the retention pond. So, I got involved with this, way back, you'll remember this, Beth, when there was somehow an inspection of the facility and adjoining area, and it was full of grass. So I got in touch with, Peter Morano, and I forget the guy, Doug, maybe. The contractor was doing the mowing. I said, well, you don't want to cut the higher vegetation. There was a reason for that being put in there, but I want all the grass cut down. Within 48 hours or 96 hours of the request, it was done perfectly. But then came, school was opening up on Wednesday, so on a week before, on a Monday, I contacted mosquito control. Laura had made a contact, but I went directly to Carolyn Haviland, who runs the inspection program and treatment program for Dave Lawson. Anyway, that said, I asked her to treat any larval forms before they become biting adults. And she said, I can't, because there's an IP, Integrated Pest Management Plan, which needed to be upgraded to put in Bacillus aeruginosa, something or other. It is a quite non-toxic to humans. You'd have to ingest 50 pounds of it. And inhaling it, it'd probably be like a dust. You'd have to inhale quite a bit of it. And that you can't do, because they don't spread it by helicopter. They use hand spreading, like spreaders. So she said, under the Children's and Family Act in the state of Massachusetts, any treatments, pesticide or other things, they have to put it into their pest management plan. So I asked Principal Cutler to do it, and then he said, well, I don't do that. So he shifted off to Doug Houston. So finally Doug got it, and I said to him, if you're not computer savvy, just call Carolyn. She'll tell you how to do it. But he was able to pull it up on their site. But what happened was, because you have to have everything done on the Wednesday before the treatment date, Bellingham is Monday. They couldn't execute it. So the schools opened up on, I want to say, Wednesday. So by the time they get out there and treated it, it was Monday. The good news is, I like when we win one for the good guys. There was no larval forms found in the basins. Shocking. They even said, pretty amazing. But I said, can you go out there next week? We will continue to do this until the first frost, because maybe we caught that water, it rained, and maybe it was fresh water. I don't know. It is pretty stagnant in my eyes, but I'm going to have them keep going out there. And if there are any, since we added this to our plan, they can treat immediately. They don't have to come back twice. So contacted Doug Houston, and when they're going to come out, they're going to call him, and he'll leave the padlock unlocked, because they cannot scale a fence to do this. So that is that is what the Bellingham Middle School retention thing. Got done, got fixed, so, and I'm glad there was nothing there. Okay, so now we have to discuss the employee flu clinic. Laura, is the VNA looking for a date? Let me just see what's in here, so. I'll talk about it before I read what I'm.
No, they didn't pick a date. They just wanted to know, first of all, if we're interested in doing it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I don't know about anybody else, and I'm gonna take it for the residents, excuse me, for the employees in this town. I'd much rather have the VNA doing it. I can't say the year we had, right, post-pandemic, we had Walgreens doing it. That person was incompetent. Gonna just say it, nobody should have to sustain bone pain from getting a tuberculin syringe. Okay, and I'm just gonna say the person should have been removed from that thing. That, I'm
Alright,
just gonna say, we're
You're gonna-
using the VNA, real nurse.
We don't have to
Yes.
say all that. We'll just say that we're using the VNA. I mean, that's what we're
Correct,
paying
okay.
for. And
So Laura,
that's
set up
what
a
we
date
did
with them and then get it out to, I guess Beth and all the supervisors and town employees. And usually, correct me if I'm wrong, we usually use the, either outside the Arcan room or in the Arcan room for the inoculations. And I think it's usually like 10 to 1, but whatever the hours are.
Why don't
I
we
would like-
see what works for the employees?
Right. We do
Why?
qualify for that, Trish, myself, Dylan, Rick, will qualify as quasi employees for that.
Anyone who wants it.
I'm having a flu shot Saturday.
Okay, Rick's getting his own, okay, that's fine. So, that was that. Okay, so set it up, Laura, if you can, and, okay, so now discuss chicken complaints. Well, over the last, I don't know, 2 weeks since our meeting, maybe. A lot of chicken complaints. Some I went out to, some were just using the adage that we will send out a notice to the person that they have so many days. We can look up the address and find out if they have a permit. I believe 2 or 3, Laura, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 or 3 had no permit. One did finally come in and get a permit. But if they don't get it when we initially they come into town, that's the other thing too. When we passed the livestock thing, everybody who had livestock had to get a permit. It was free. If you don't get the permit, we catch you. There's a $50 fee one time for processing it and call it a little punishment. It's not 50 anymore. It's just you get the permit, you renew it. I guess if you get rid of your animals, you what do you call it?
Drop the permit.
Drop the permit, or forgive the whatever you call it, turn it into permit.
Yep.
But what we've noticed is, and I asked Laura to find this out. New people come into town, houses sell, and they bring chickens with them. So other animals, but mostly chickens. And I guess they shouldn't be penalized because they didn't know about the laws. But ignorance of the law is no excuse. But I'm just gonna say, what we thought was if we can get a resident who's in town with chickens as complaints, look at the assessor and say they just bought the property, or that way there we can say like, okay, you can come in, and I would say we waive the $50 fee because I want compliance, and finding someone is only the last resort to get compliance. However, if you've been in town,
That's different.
a while, we'll have to go look and say, when did the regulation get approved? If you came in town one day after, I said, I'll give you grace. But if you've been in town a year after the regulation, you should have been getting a permit. So we'll do the old, unless the board feels differently, do the thing is, they'll get a permit, they'll pay a $50 thing. And whatever. But if it's somebody new to town, and just got caught, I'd say, well, maybe we can waive the fee. Either
See,
that,
I think at this point, we shouldn't waive anything. Everybody should just go with what the rules
right,
are,
yeah, okay,
and let's
I agree.
move forward.
okay,
Now, that's my opinion.
no,
If
that's fine.
anybody, if you wanna say no to that, that's good.
No,
But I think if we start making exceptions,
right, then we have to
then
remember
when
who got the
somebody
exception.
pays the fine,
Right.
they're gonna say, well, wait a minute. they didn't pay the fine.
Correct,
Why am I paying? Well, you know, because they were a new,
right now, okay,
listen,
I agree,
if there's a fine, there's a fine.
right. Okay,
I got it.
so anyway, so we've had, so. Laura, what do we have in the
Is there a way to
livestock bylaw? What's the was it defined 50 for no permit, or is it 50 for violating? I believe most properties can have 9 chickens.
is there a way that we could maybe like
The
notify
the
more
regular,
residents instead of hitting
Yeah,
them
that's another thing,
immediately with
too.
a fine or something? Like when they move in, be like, just so you know, like
Right.
uh,
Laura, did we decide we're gonna post on the Bellingham website for the Board of Health?
yeah, but if you look at the livestocks in your package, it's page 4, what the fines are now, we give them so long. We give them a written warning first, I think.
Okay,
And
Okay,
then,
fine.
but we are gonna
Yeah,
try
it's
to
on page 4.
advertise it
Page 4,
more
got
on
it,
social
okay.
media, so people do know that.
okay,
You know, a lot of people, they truly don't know, but if we put it out there, then they really don't have any, you know, excuse if we try to advertise it more.
okay,
definitely, I agree.
perfect, okay. So, okay, so we do have a little bit of leeway in there, you getting a written warning, stuff like that, but anyway. At least right now, there are, I believe, 3 complaints or 4 of chickens. One has a rooster, so that was the 2131 Essex, so I assume that letter went out to them that they need to get a permit. And they need to get rid of the rooster. There is no, the only place you can have a rooster in Bellingham, in my eyes, is the Lakeview Farms or whatever they call themselves. That's a true 100-acre agricultural land forever, APR forever, whatever that word is. And say
Agricultural. It just
Right.
has,
So that's the only place that, and even they really, they had a rooster once, but they don't have roosters, so whatever, so. That said, since I'm gonna probably add, so Laura, the livestock regulation is different than our article for amendment at town meeting, which is the zoning part of livestock, right? We have well, here's what I'm gonna ask. Laura, you can weigh in this. I don't know if I asked you this, but I think I should ask the board for their opinion on this. You know, I will be there. I expect, well, I'd like to say every member will be there. And is November 15th, the town meeting?
I'm
Anyway.
not sure the exact date in November.
Okay, we have an article, we have an amendment to the zoning bylaw that we're gonna take away the words, 6 months or older, because what happens is when you have goats and a few other animals, they don't have single births, they have twins or more. The goats are twins,
Yeah.
99% of the time. So the person's only supposed to have 3 animals. And he has 1 set of babies, now he's at 5. Then he has 2 females, so he's at 7. Now he's at 9. And he said, well, they're not 6 months old, so they're not animals. So we have to remove that. Now, that said, I'm assuming anybody who lives near someone who has only 3 goats is not gonna complain. But if all of a sudden they have 5, 7, 9, the good news is they never get beyond 9 because the first ones become 6 months or older. So what they do is, in the meantime, they're violating the law at 4. What they say is, well, when my holiday comes up, I'll slaughter and eat it. And they use the adage, it's food and it's like a religious holiday. And I say, well, I'm sorry,
That's still
it's
like
not in the Board of Health's idea to, how do I say it,
do that.
violate the rules.
Yeah.
We put the rules in because people were bringing llamas, goats, pig on a 4,000 square foot lot up where Rick lives.
Oh my
There was
gosh.
350-pound goats. Excuse me, pigs.
Yeah.
There was a mini, we don't count the mini.
Yeah.
There was 14 chickens. They put their shed up on the property line, 20 by something. So they had adequate space, but it wasn't clean. The runoff was going into multiple neighborhoods. And then they had some other animal, I forget what, it might have been a llama. And, you know, the resident complained for 6 months, so we developed a bylaw, it's gonna be the regulation, because we said, you can't have this happen. It was filthy, I mean, it was like, you had to wear a mask
That's
to enter the backyard. Anyway, so, whatever, but usually regulations come up because we can't wait to town meeting, and we can't have people just constantly figuring a new way to violate the law. It's like, I don't know, I just don't think any department ever but the Board of Health has to say, like, do people dream of new ways?
Well, what's that saying? You give them,
Well, there's no law. they
you
say.
give them a foot, they take a mile. So
Yeah,
you gotta
but
make sure.
There is
you
no
gotta-
law, so they say, well, if there's no law, we can do anything we want. So anyway,
Exactly.
so the thing is, I'm hoping the town meeting folks vote to remove that language, three words actually. If not, I will at the first Board of Health meeting in December propose something different. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't like to, what do you call it? Telegraph
Yeah. Your
my
moves.
move.
Yes.
So I will leave that alone. Okay, so the other thing that happened was, at the last meeting, we brought up Hopper Boulevard. Rick gave him a stern, order or warning, and he didn't do it. There was talk about, you know, just either Concom doing it or letting it go. And I don't know. I started, how do I say it? Having nightmares about this thing. For the person who lives there, and for just, I can't comprehend someone takes over a public street and then dumps 100 yards, not a bucket or two of your lawn clipping, but 100 yards of commercial waste, grass and stuff. And now is composting, which DEP does not allow, within 100 feet of a wetland. It's in the wetland. And in the meantime, since he pushed the stuff off, he's destroyed the entire road shoulder. The neighbor's yard is going into the wetland, so it's filling the wetland. So I contacted the police department, and lo and behold, I gotta say this, you know, members, next time I go this way, please help. When the DPW, the Board of Health, and BPD got the note, the email from this resident, I should not have said to DPW, I'll take care of this. The Board of Health has more authority and will be quick and efficient. Well, we weren't. I wasn't. So I got the BPD, Chris Padula, Sergeant Padula, said you need to file a formal complaint. Today I talked to the officer. She did track down the person that Cliff Matthews saw that day, Rick, was Tim Rinaldi, the father of Joe Rinaldi. So there is a Tim. So she said, if you don't mind, I'm calling Cliff Matthews. So she called Cliff Matthews. I don't know the outcome of that yet. I have an email on my phone, so hopefully I'll see it. And I have an email, my town email. But she said, we will definitely charge him if we can just get a little bit more information. So in 24 to 48 hours, this thing is going from like, I know, was being a nice guy. I went to the DPW, I went to the recycling committee, said, listen, he's gonna take all this fill, 75% of it. He's gonna bring it on Saturday and Sunday to your facility and dump it. So you gotta give him like 20 days. So I came up with 20 days. Laura sent him the thing, we violated the 20. Then we asked for receipts. He said, I have them. Nothing came in. Then he said, oh, I only have one company. And I think that, Rick, that's the meeting you got. And you just said, we want to see the receipts. And that never happened. And then the other thing, it's not me. Well, it may not be the son, Joe. It's probably the father. So what the police department said, one's covering for the other. We will sift through this for you. And she says, you know, if they charge him, he'll have to go to court. So at that point, I said, you're welcome to join. Because you know, I'm enforcing this bylaw because when we created this bylaw, people go to supermarkets, people go to private property, people On the public, it's different. If you litter in the road, the Bellingham law is $100 for
Yeah.
offense.
Yep.
If you litter in a parking lot, there was no law. No law. So
Really?
I said, well, businesses make money off of that entity. People shop there. The business should pay a greater fine, because if you throw it out of your car, throw it out of your house, it's littering, but I'm saying, like, you have less resources, you have less likely someone comes to your yard and litters versus when you have 100 people going to a store and I don't want to say it, but 75% throw the thing on the ground, or they leave it in the basket. What I call that is, you don't litter, you allow the wind to take it and throw it on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Or the employee goes like
Really?
some places carry a bag, but some places just take it, just throw it on the ground. I'm going like, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, but so we created a commercial bylaw to enforce trashing, and it was all due to one gentleman who lived near Stop and Shop. So he's still out of control, but the point is, that bylaw, that regulation was created for him, but now it's enforced throughout all the plazas. They're much better. In the last year, I can hardly say I've seen Walmart. They hired contractors now. So Walmart, Market Basket. I don't know about Charles River and that plaza. I don't go there too often.
Oh, the other side?
But they're all picking it up.
They're pretty good.
It's nice and clean.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the guys picking up the baskets, put it all into one, they get in there, they throw it into the bin. I pick it up when I see it, walk it in, unless it's filth. And that would be defined as someone's mask, someone's tissue, I don't know where it's been. And viruses are
Something that
you
touched
can't
deer.
yeah. So I don't pick it up.
Yep.
Whatever. But that said, they're now held to a different thing. So anyway, so the DPW, let's see if there's anything different from DPW on that. Right. I think the initial contact between me and Sergeant Padula was, they had no objection to the sign, but they wanted to talk to me. And they also wanted, I contacted the witness. I know her name and her number. Last 2 days, she has not responded. I said, I need you to do, as the officer told me, he said, she can do a private testimony in a little room, just record it, as to what she's saying. If she knows the individual, we would like the name instead of my neighbor in 20, number 20. I mean, that's as good as the name.
Yeah.
My neighbor lives at 20. He's been dumping stuff for 2 years. I'm fed up now, finally. I don't know why it took 2 years, but
If
anyway.
you get a name, that's like gold. Like,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I hope she will come forward. If it goes to court, Cliff Matthews said he will attend. And yeah, so at this point, I think the hope is at this point that the DPW will do a hold on this until the police department fully prosecutes it. So anyway, but we will be involved as the complainant. So I filled out, like I said, the complaint as the Board of Health agent for the Board of Health and for the town of Bellingham with our local PD. And I'm going to say, like, I got to remember, going it alone, it's not a one-man army. I'm sort of a very independent person. I gotta say, I can't do that anymore. I gotta make sure I depend on my friends to. How do I say, a show of force is much better than one person. Me. I'm not that big, so I don't look that forceful. So anyway, okay, employee calendar. So here's okay, Michelle on vacation this week. Then,
I actually have a vacation in October that I want. So
okay.
it's luckily
Yeah.
it's literally a Thursday to a Monday, so it's not too much.
Well, what happens is, when you meet with Melissa,
Melissa.
you get your whole things done.
I'll just talk to her.
You'll be an employee by that point. You can just say like, hey, I don't. You probably won't have vacation time, but you can just say like,
I've had it planned before
I
even
need to
took the
take it.
position,
So it's fine. At that point, either I or Steve will be covering for it.
Sweet.
So, back over 2 years ago, I think it was at least 2 years ago. The Board of Selectmen appointed me as a special town employee. It was for the purposes mostly to do septics, because when Bruce was on vacation.
Yep.
And he had a lot of vacation.
Yeah.
Because he was a 5-year employee.
Oh, yeah.
And if he got ill. And Mike Catalano had some illness and
Mhm.
some vacation time, I did that. But way back, when we had Agent Graft, he had a lot of illness, surgery. So I covered for Mike a lot, so, and I don't know, it's hard to tell because I can't remember. Which agent that was covering for, was it more or less busy? I don't care.
Yeah.
You gotta do the job, so all I'll say to you is,
I mean, October is not really a busy time for inspections and stuff anyway.
no, what I'm saying, we could get complaints, what I'm saying is, just diligently to just put it in like this calendar we'll have,
Mhm.
and, I'll cover for you.
And like I said, I also specifically
Oh,
picked
okay.
it, trying to plan it, knowing I was like, okay, at this point, I'm gonna have a job, but I don't wanna take off too much time.
Right.
It's a weekend,
Right,
so
that's-
it's Thursday to Monday.
So your thing is Thursday's a full day, was it 8 to 4, Laura, 8 to 4:30, whatever it is. And then Friday's a half day, it's 8 to 1. And then Monday's what's it say, Monday too?
Yeah, Monday
So-
too.
so, okay.
Cause I would fly
So
back
you
on
get-
Monday, so.
So you get 2 full days. And like I said, the
Yeah.
weekend, it's only if there's like an emergency,
Mhm.
trash is an emergency.
Yeah.
Right? They used to have to.
That's correct, Vinny. Trash is
Correct.
not an emergency situation.
We've had, by the way,
Trash
let me
tipped over.
echo that we've had very little problems lately, the last couple of weekends.
Knock on wood.
With the yellow bins at Larry's, so. I'm impressed,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, actually, I've
It's
noticed,
very cool.
yeah, those have been
I don't know
super
why.
clean.
So anyway.
Yeah.
I think them
before you
getting the
turn-
bigger bins
Oh,
definitely.
no, I remember.
But yeah, I'm saying, there used to be 6 yellow,
Oh, yeah.
now there's 1 white one with 2 stalls. I don't know
Yeah,
how 6 becomes 2, it's a little deeper,
yeah.
but it fills real fast.
Hmm.
So anyway, but we'll see what happens when the real holidays come, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or
New Year's.
back to school.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to do it, but,
Mhm.
summer days, 4th of July,
Memorial Day. or no?
Memorial Day. There was stuff stacked 13 feet in front of it.
Oh, God.
Okay, so the rest of the meeting is, the rest of Michelle's on to the 11th. Laura, you got a vacation day on the 14th. And, our next meeting is the 19th, yeah, the 19th. Cause it's usually the 5th plus 14 is 19. And that's it, and, Trudy does fill in from the building department when Laura and Michelle are busy with something, so. Trudy's also, I wanna give her credit again. She's also one to develop the spreadsheet for the grease traps. By the way, that's the other thing too, for you, Laura, and for Michelle. Robbie asked the question. So what do we do with this grease trap regulation? I was reading it. I said, you go into each restaurant's entity. If it's a 2,000 gallon grease pit, it needs to have no more than 1,000 gallons into it. Has to be pumped regularly to maintain 1,000 or less. I don't know what that is. It depends on the volume of fat that they generate. If it's a 5-gallon side sink grease trap,
Mhm.
you have to dump that into a big thing. They can no longer dump it all over the ground. I went to North Main Street Plaza and another place. The grease is missing the hole. So it's all over the ground, it's all over the vegetation. So, I said, you need to correct that, and I told them, if you don't correct it, then fines will ensue. But, that regulation is so important to the town of Bellingham that if we get our February inspection and the state says we're still receiving grease from the town of Bellingham, they will shut every restaurant down north of the high school.
Well, Vinny,
would-
when Michelle and I did a food inspection at Primo Pizza, they knew exactly what to show us. So
Perfect,
each
perfect.
place that's doing it, they have records of it.
Perfect,
And that
so,
we
and
need to
remember,
ask that when
Right.
we go on inspections.
okay, so remind Robbie of that, I said they should know what they're doing. The other person that led us to greater things was Remember when I did the complaint at Outback? It was a dirty ductwork grill. They gave us records on all their hood cleaning, records on all their grease. It was amazing. I said to myself, who would have known? They were actually doing it in advance of our regulation because we didn't have it. That was the joke. The state said, well, you don't have a regulation. Neither did Franklin, but we took care of them last week. And then I said, or Jesse said, Franklin's a bigger town. They have more restaurants. Probably not. But let's say they do have more. They're probably putting more grease in. They said, no, they had really a lot of proof that they weren't. And then we looked at Bellingham and, and I said, well, that morning was a morning after, no, 2 mornings after our Board of Health meeting on Tuesday. We passed the Millis regulation. The lady, the 2 PEs, both PEs, one from the state, one from pollution control, MWRA, said, whoa, where'd you get this? I said, well, I says, a town not too close to us had a regulation that when I invited someone to do a fog, fats, oil, and grease demonstration for every town in Norfolk County, because I was county commissioner, they came to Bellingham. They met with the Bellingham people. Bellingham said, forget it, we're not doing it. And I was on the Board of Health then.
Yeah.
I was just a county commissioner. So anyway, the bottom line is the town of Millis went crazy. They took the most, I call it, lethal form of regulation and said, this is what our restaurants are doing. And I said to Laura and Trudy, take out Millis, put in Bellingham. When I presented that document, they said, we don't need to go out today. We were going out for 4 hours to open every manhole north of the thing. It was a nice day for it, but I didn't want to go out there. I didn't want to see like if it's really bad.
Yeah.
They said, no, this regulation, this is really good. She says, as long as you enforce this and do this, when we come back on February 6th or 8th, if we can tell your numbers are down, then we won't have to do anything else. We'll just put you on a routine, send you a letter saying, hey,
you just keeping up.
how's the grease? Well, what they're saying is the Board of Health needs to retain these things.
Yep.
The businesses are going to collect the data. They're going to provide it to us. We need to put it in each business's jacket and keep track of it. Because the state can say, we're auditing the restaurant grease files. Anyway,
we need to
and the other thing this will help too is if they contain this grease and get rid of it, an alternative method than the sewer, it protects our sewer pipes, which in this town, we just got some new roads. Imagine digging up the pipes to put in, because most of the pipes are still cast iron.
Oh yeah.
They're not the green new ones.
Yep.
So that said, I don't know what new pipes are, but even PVC pipes or other pipes, fats, oils, and greases reduce the diameter.
Yeah.
And they cause fatigue of the materials. They're nasty compounds.
Can it like weaken the joints too?
Yeah.
It just messes
yeah.
it up.
So it affects rubber. Joint seal between the 2 PVC pipes.
Exactly.
Rubber.
Exactly.
It's a double rubber O-ring.
Yeah.
And it'll rot the O-ring. So,
yeah.
If we lose sewage that way, I don't really think it'll make. Well, I don't know what it'll do. It's going to be a slow leak.
Yeah.
But
leak.
If it's a water pipe, then they call unaccounted water in this town has to be below a certain level. Or we get fined by the DEP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've had to go through and remove fine water leaks, preventive maintenance. Town goes through and monitors old pipes. And in South Bellingham, they changed a lot of all the old roads. I think where Robbie lives. So anyway, okay. So next we had was let's see. We did employee calendar. Okay, so we're on hold for food grading. We're on hold for the DPH intern. Depending on, I'll just say this, depending on what type of health agent we got. If the person had a tremendous epidemiology background, I was gonna say like, oh, what I really want to do here, I'll just bring you up to date. Yes. The other members, well, Rick hasn't heard this. We had an intern maybe in the year 2000, and she was an epidemiologist, and she served a year with the Board of Health. Came to every meeting, recorded them, and then she did her thesis on it because she was working on her master's in epidemiology. But she also provided us data that is, the state sends every 2 or 3 years, the typical deaths in town. What groups, like what ethnic groups, what areas of town. And I've been noticing them, since my wife passed away, that it wasn't brain cancer, but we've had a lot of brain cancer up high for the first few years. The other cancers, like you think, like, well, colon, it was always like their GI cancer. They chose GI.
Yeah, GI.
So it could be
Okay.
stomach, colon,
Intestinal.
and I even think they
At least not
include
kidney, Vinny. Kidney cancer.
kidney, yeah.
Yep.
So they include all those, lump them.
Okay.
But they only sent us a report, and it's for you to look at and go like, so what do we do about it?
Yeah.
And I didn't like, because I have a lot of friends in the last 10 or 15 years, either they or their wife, and they weren't working with chemicals that could cause, have just died of brain cancer. And it's blowing my mind. That one bothered me. My wife died of ovarian. So if I was just out to find out, that's the only thing I would care about, but it's not that. I'm a medical person, and when the state sent this years ago, I just said we have to hire. But now I said, so Northeastern and one other college or university, they have DPH interns, and what happens is you got to apply for it. So I know, Laura, I have not done this. You have to write like a job description or we call it intern request description. So I'm probably going to say, like, maybe just before you leave, Rick, we'll try to write this. Even Dylan, you got a bachelor in public health, so
Well,
part of that, is probably having some epidemiology.
Oh yeah, I was also gonna share,
So
as I get into the health agent, position, and I'm not sure if this is really an opportunity, but,
Right.
At my school, they have like capstones. And so for each public health student is expected to complete a capstone. What the capstone is
okay,
it's essentially an internship.
okay,
And so it's a semester-long internship where you go work for, it can't be a pre-existing job, so it has to be like
Right.
something new.
yeah.
And
Well, you need
kind of,
to,
exactly. It kind of sounds like maybe this could be it. And
Yeah.
the other thing is that it could potentially save us a little bit of money, because also we wouldn't have to pay them, the school would pay them.
Right. That's the other thing too. But DPH will actually do this intern as a grant. What they'll do is, if the school says you need this to do this for your master's or your bachelor's, it's a core credit. You're paying for the course. However, what they'll do is, at the intern, the DPH may fund that cost for you.
Interesting.
Whatever. I don't know. All I know is the lady was a sister of a person who worked with me at the Army base.
Interesting.
And he said, hey, my sister needs to do an internship.
Yeah.
We're always talking about Bellingham Board of Health. I said, and she lives in Franklin. Like, right on the border.
Yeah, me too.
Send her right there. It was the greatest thing. And by the way, she gave us a report that was like at least this thick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Vinny, it sounds like Dylan has a connection though at his school.
Yes, I know. I agree.
Because I actually, one of the big issues that I had when I was looking for my position is that all of my professors have no connections in Southern Mass. Because I went to Lowell, which is Northern, so they have nobody down here. So I told them, I was like, hey, I'll stay in touch with you, and if you have students that are looking for internships in Southern Mass, send them towards me. And I can figure something out.
You'll save me a lot of work.
So I can try and talk and finesse that, finagle that.
That's good.
Talk to my people.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, so that's where that is. We're on hold on those. Okay, next thing is bills.
Well, we might not even really have to be on hold. I mean,
Well, no. What I'm saying is, go ahead, Dylan. Why don't you reach out?
Try and figure it out.
You will have a lot of stuff to do. Let me just backtrack one thing too, because when I said that, you'll be going out with Steve and you'll be going out with me. And the thing is, the extra stuff you see, not so much complaints, but when you're on a Title V, whether it's construction versus inspection, I'll get an inspection that will be probably outside the Board of Health, but you'll see what an inspector does. You'll have that same license. The thing is, you're gonna have to do in the next 6 months those trainings. I have to do mine by June of 24. So I'm going to take those things, so, you know, we can take the vehicle, go to a training. You know, the Board of Health will pay for those.
Yep.
And then, once you're done your training hours, you have to take the test, I've already done that.
Yep.
I just submit my training hours to NEPOC, which is the agency that will issue both of your licenses, SI and SE.
Mhm.
They're a third party to the state of Massachusetts DEP, Environmental Protection side. And they, you know, pretty rigorous, they're very into like, they're in pot with MWRA, coastal management, University of Rhode Island, University of Connecticut, so they're New England
Yeah.
region, so all this, I just echoed the states around us.
Yep.
But they make sure everybody that's doing an evaluation job is trained to the state level. So,
Sweet.
so you will actually take a test that's not through them, your training courses will go there. But it'll be, probably when I took mine, it was Holy Cross, it was a Saturday, 3 hours, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, they'll tell you, you know, because there's a fee for that, the town will pay for that fee, you know. More than likely, I wouldn't think that anybody has a problem with SI. SE is a little tricky, like I said. You'll learn landforms, you'll learn soils, you'll learn the Munsell color chart in and out.
Yep.
You know.
I test well, so I'm not
so
worried.
That's fine. So, and there's hands-on, you know,
Yep.
they will dig a hole with a backhoe, they'll staircase it, so nobody, how do I say it? Traps. You'll take a soil ped, which is from the A layer all the way down to geologic. You'll take that ped, you'll evaluate each quadrant and then give it a color, give it a texture, and so on and so on. And
Right,
part of
yeah.
the job is what landform you come from. So
I know that it's required, but I just want to share that it just sounds like I'm genuinely interested. Like
okay,
I know it's obviously required,
well,
but like
yeah.
it genuinely sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
I'm excited.
You know, when you get to inspect the septic system, how do you say it?
Vinny,
You get to teach people.
did
Yes.
anybody mention to ask Dylan if he's available for meetings the first and third Tuesday of every month?
No, we didn't. He is.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, I
Yeah,
just
your
wanted to
attendance
be
was required
sure.
for that. Yep. Because when you have like health agent report, that'll be you. Now,
Yeah.
you know, we may have gone out and, you know, I'll say like, well, this is my opinion of that, but you know, you gotta call it like you see it too.
Yep.
So, you know, whatever. I mean, at one point, it's like you're learning and I'm like just saying, perfect, I don't need to be here, but
Cool.
whatever.
Yep.
The complaints are interesting. There's no, how do I say it? There's no training for those.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like Rick said. You look at the reg and you say like, okay, was it, oops, you know, having a bad day? Or is it like, they can't even read English, so
Yeah.
let alone they somehow got a license, whatever, in any event. But that's another story. We're not gonna pick on that.
Mhm.
Well, we will. We'll get them trained. Okay, so the first thing is, someone making, I'll tell you what, Rick, you're gonna do this. I think I have to do, so Laura, we make a motion on betterment agreement and I'm the one that signs that? No, we all sign, okay, fine. Okay, so Rick,
Yeah,
there you go.
we actually already approved it. You did that last meeting, but this is the full agreement that everybody just
Perfect,
signed.
perfect, okay, great. Okay, Rick. I can't make the motion, so you make the motion.
I make a motion that we accept the WB Mason bill 7669.
All right, I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye,
Aye.
opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay. You can sign on the bottom there, whatever. Yeah. That's the Steve Donatelli, the next one, right?
All right, I make a motion that we accept an invoice from SD Septic Inspections LLC. It's 3 pages long. In the amount of $2,000.
Okay, I second that.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay, great.
Uh. All right, I make a motion that we accept the Betterment Agreement B owner contracts for the work for 2023.
Okay, I second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, so carried. Sign this and then. Trish, I don't think you need to sign these because we have two signatures, but your choice. You want to come in, especially the loan agreement, probably should sign now.
Yeah, I think the loan agreement she should sign, or I can sign for her, but as long as she
Okay.
makes note that she's in agreement.
Yeah, the other bills I think are not that critical, so. Okay, so let's see if we got plans here, right? Okay, so. Okay, we have plan reviews here, so.
So Vinny, if you'll see on the bottom of that paperwork, you can just read that 310 CMR, or
Yeah, is that
Tricia
the
or
one
Rick
for
can read it.
1010?
The first one is 1010, correct?
Okay, so let me just you want me to do that or you want Rick to do it?
You can do it, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so I'd like to request a local upgrade approval for 1010 South Main Street. Designed by New England Environmental Design LLC. The local upgrade approvals are actually this says 2 Saddleback, Laura. Both of them.
This one here is 1010 South Main.
Yeah,
Street.
okay.
So
Yeah, the
two
first one's
Saddleback.
Right, so
1010.
okay, so this local upgrade approval is 310 CMR 15405 parentheses 1 parentheses H reduction in the required 4-foot separation from bottom of soil absorption system to high groundwater from 4 feet to 3 feet. So 3 feet is requested. So see if there's anything else. There is not. So can I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay, so. This one is a bit of an emergency. There's a problem with the system. It's been going on for a little while because they didn't have an engineer. They hired an engineer, and now they're in the process of hiring a contractor to take care of this. Anyway, so that one's just how do I say it? Got to get done. Okay. Okay. I'd like to make a request for a local upgrade approval for Berman at 8 Bernier Lane, designed by Level Design Group, deed restricted to 2 bedrooms. The local upgrade approval is 310 CMR 15405-1B, reduction setback of the system SAS from 20 feet to 19.3 feet from the basement wall. 310 CMR 15405-1B, reduction setback of the property line required 10 feet to 9 feet 3 feet, and a 10-foot minimum separation from the system potable water line. Proposed to sleeve the water line in the area of the field. So that's part of the 4051B. So that is the 2.5, let's say, local upgrade approvals requested. So can I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstained, so carried. Thank you. Okay. Wait, that's the point.
And Two Saddleback Hill is the one I texted all of you what they're looking for. 'cause
right, so that
Steve
should
and
be,
I didn't, you should be able to read that right off your text.
okay, so we don't have a plan, we're just gonna read off the local upgrade approval?
No, the plan is also in that plan folder to
Okay, so let me
sign.
get to that, I'll be,
I
there
just
in a
didn't
minute.
have, I didn't have Steve's notes because we didn't, he wasn't
that's
able.
fine,
to
that's
come in.
fine. Yeah, we do want that, that's another thing that Steve will, he'll be doing that as part of plan review, that's another thing, I forgot to say. But that doesn't require a license, that's gonna require a skill level,
Mhm.
so you'll pick up, you can go to the state DEP, local upgrade approvals, usually like, we don't waive 20 to 19.3. But you do whatever the engineer says, I don't need 10. You know, sometimes if you waive it to 10, you gotta put a 40 mil barrier in the foundation, so.
Mm.
There's all sorts of things that, you know, and that would be spelled out as a amendment of 405, whatever. There's a whole bunch of numbers that go along with that. I think there's only 2 on here. Rick. So, okay, so let's see. Okay, so hang on. Okay, I'd like to request the local upgrade approval for 2 Saddleback Road. Designed for William Mallard. The local upgrade approval is 310 CMR 15405-1 parentheses A, request a reduction in the setback distance of the soil absorption system SAS to property line from 10 feet to 8 feet. The request also requires a butter notification. And then we have 310 CMR 15405-1B, request a reduction in the setback distance of the soil absorption system or SAS and foundation from 20 feet to 10 feet. That, you know, is requested. Now, 10 feet may not, I'll have to look in the plan, 10 feet may not trip a 40 mil barrier. Probably less than 10 does. You know, you have to learn these things. What's good about it, every engineer designs a plan, there you help. You know, they just say, okay, here's what I want you to get, you know, so, you know, so the health agent is going to put those things together for us, and then we're gonna approve it. So normally, you know, someone else is making the motion, but in this case, if you don't say it right, technically someone could say like, wow, it wasn't installed right because the request wasn't made. I don't particularly care if someone says soil absorption system,
Yeah,
it's just SAS, you know,
yeah, it's the same thing.
but people would just say like, wasn't that a leaching field? And but it's not a field sometimes, it's a trench. Field usually means a bed,
Yeah,
so I'm a bed kind of guy, because beds are no sidewall, but you get depth this way.
Yep.
And it percolates much better over. The other way, you have septic sand, trench with stone and a pipe.
yeah.
And you get sidewall, so you get
Mm.
18 inches this way, 2 feet this way, 18. So you get, what's that? 5 square feet.
Yeah.
The bed, you get just the bottom. You don't get sidewall. So
Mm.
if you make a bed 20 by 20, it's 400 square feet. If it's 4 bedroom, you need 440, so you gotta make it a little bit bigger. So you'll learn those things. And that's one thing about Title V, you'll learn about, you know, what is a normal bedroom design. Every bedroom's 2 adults, 55 gallons per person. So a bedroom is 110 gallons. However, that's 200% of the law, what you need.
Yeah.
Really, your bedroom, if you use 55 or less, you're doing well. Because you never want to go to design limit. You want to go to use limit. Use limit should be 50% of design. If you want your system to last a long time,
Okay.
and that costs you $40,000. Okay, no then. Okay, we have no betterment bills. Let's see, was there something? Good.
Vinny, you wanted me to remind you to talk about noise on good and welfare.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, let's say 21 people, every department known to the town of Bellingham, I think, I might be wrong, has been notified by a resident on Depot, it's Depot Avenue or whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Depot Street. And she's been there 10 years, her neighbor's been there 3 or 4, but he has a personal range. So the town council and I'll probably say state law would say if Bellingham Police has been down to check it out, all the safety requirements have been met. 500 feet from a dwelling, not your own, but
Yep.
from a neighboring dwelling.
Yep.
And the backstop, I believe, is, whatever.
Substantial.
It's way back. I think it's probably a junkyard. Either way,
Okay.
there's no issues of it going back there. The only thing that I don't know if she's contacted them is whether if there's wetlands, the EPA and the DEP will make you put what they call a shooting bin. So no lead. You can't sift lead on soil.
Yeah.
You can't. Even if you have a mound, who's going to sift it? And lead's toxic to the environment.
Yeah.
It's the reason why we don't have lead drinking water.
Exactly.
Lead causes children to develop a form of mental retardation.
Yep.
It also helps with adults as they get older, like old people.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's good to know your lead level. But the other thing is, she asked me, well, over the weekend she's been in contact. I told her, I said, I know what the noise decibel are. For sound protection, it's 85, and then short-term exposure limits 110 step.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, but that's for industry. And she says, Bellingham has all these zoning bylaws with noise. And I said, well, yeah, they're probably 75 or 65. She said, no, they're 50 and 45. So I said, like me, show me. Well, she copies this thing out and sends it to me, and I go like, so I went into the building department because Tim's a zoning agent. I said, we're changing this. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I talk louder than 50 dB.
Oh my God.
And I'm
That's
saying, but Tim says, well, that's sustained this. Well, I tell you what, right now, I'm a little ticked off. I said, I'm going to talk to you now for an hour at 55.
yeah.
I said, no one's going to violate my civil rights to speech, because I talk too loud.
I put 55 in my headphones every day.
Well, anyway, the bottom line was, she said, are you a member of the Massachusetts Area Board of Health? I said, absolutely. We've been a member for years. That's where you'll take some training.
Yep.
Maybe in November. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Not to conflict with your soil value and stuff.
Yes, of course.
But so she went and contacted Cheryl Sabah, which is the attorney and the director of MASB. What Cheryl did was took the Bellingham bylaw, decibel levels, put it into a public health document, and says, just have the Board of Health approve it. So I said, I said to her, I said, on her deck was 60s, 55, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And then occasionally you'd see a spike. She got her own meter. I don't know how good it is if it's ANSI standard decibel meter. The town has one, but I don't know where it resides, either in Tim as zoning or whether it's police. But she's contacted, them, and I said, I feel for you, but and she did put in what I had said. People mow their lawn, people chainsaw their wood. You're not going to tell me what I can't do on my property, which is maintenance of my property. People, I don't agree with loud music. If you're having a party in your house and it's going all day long, I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
But
You're running the
I
league.
usually tolerate it. I'll go over and say, hey, been going on for 8 hours, can't go on anymore. And usually people will shut it down. People are nice to neighbors usually. Sometimes how you meet a neighbor, they start violating your how do they call it? I get a light up on a chainsaw and I said, let's see who's louder. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm old enough.
Yeah.
I'm smarter maybe. So the bottom line was, as I said, I'll bring it to the board as saying, we can create a regulation. Well, the public hearing on it, we can create a regulation like in a blink, 2-3 meetings. But I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I think it's infringing on something, I agree, he's been there less time than her. He was running a commercial thing, like a bond,
Mhm.
parties, but Tim shut that down. So
But my other thing is like, it's not like you're dealing with like nerve damage.
No, that's what I was
Just
trying
I
to
knew
tell. I
that.
was trying to tell her. She says, but she says, I can't sit. Well, her dog, dogs, fireworks,
Oh,
and
yeah.
any loud noise. Her dog is going crazy.
Got a little
Does
yappy
he
dog.
need to have a permit
No,
for the range?
by the way, I got copies from town council. I don't know if you guys all got it, but I think you did. Everybody was included in it. Don't, how do I say it? It's not don't talk to her, but, don't get sucked up in this. But I was already into it before, when I came to see Tim, he said, how'd she get to you? I said, you know that little thing, Vincent 40, telephone number. I have both
She
my
went on the
numbers.
website, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you should be able to get to anybody this time.
Yeah.
You know,
You work.
I don't care who you are. You have to, how do I say it? You have to take care of your residents,
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you have to educate them. Sometimes you have to say like, like I needed like the livestock because it was affecting multiple areas of towns. It was destroying neighborhoods. It was a public health threat.
Oh, yeah.
This is only bothering her. I know it's the only house near that thing.
Yeah, I was gonna
But,
say, no other neighbors.
Well, there's industry on the other side. There's a bunch
they
of
don't-
stuff. No.
That's
So,
tough.
so I just wanted to bring it up and say, let's, unless someone has a different opinion, tabling it until we can figure out how to get the town meeting. We cannot add an emergency to this town meeting. Cause I thought it was an emergency, I said, you need to change that to, I want 65 or 70. And the Stell can still be there, the single, that means you can't do a single, the Stell for more than 15 minutes out of 1 hour. Cause if you're a worker and you have your hearing on, and it's above 120, 150 dB.
Yeah.
You do hear a single threshold limit
Oh, yeah.
above 110.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
that
say
will damage
110
your
damage. Yeah.
Will do is that usually the higher ones give you what they call it's not the talking range, it's in the other part of the range. I lose my track. What you don't want
Yeah.
to do is lose your hearing in the range of communication.
Well, also once you get up there, because decibels,
Yeah,
decibels are exponential.
it's high, yes.
Yeah,
It's
so
high frequency. So what happens is that's less damaging to your quality of life. But when you can't hear, that's when you get a hearing.
exactly.
Because the noise was at the 85 threshold, too long. 85 to 90 destroys that point of, like I said, I know I talk greater. I'm toning it down now. When I get animated on something, I think I'm passionate about it.
Everybody,
Well,
natural.
no, yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
you can, I'll be in the car like 2 feet away from you because someone is blowing my mind the way they're driving.
Yeah.
Or doing stuff and I'll be yelling,
Yeah, it happens.
just take the hearing protection, whatever. So anyway,
It turns it off for the day.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you think, Rick? And
I'm gonna,
Well,
Laura, is it possible for you to get me a copy of the noise ordinance?
I think she sent it to everybody. But I'm not
Yes,
sure.
I can get it for you tomorrow.
Okay, I would appreciate it.
All right. So anyway, aside from being invited, I'm busy in another town working and can you come out to my deck right now? Whatever. She's, said her dog is now psychotic. I said, well, you have to take it to a vet and have them analyze whether or not they do.
What kind of dog does she have?
It's a little one like a terrier.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna
it does go nuts. I see it jumping around. When the gunfire goes on, it jumps up like 3 feet and crashes to the ground.
Oh, God.
And she's not doing it because the dog's 50 feet. I don't know why the dog runs over the fence, right? Because they sense there's somebody out there. Now, from her deck to the range is 602 feet. So from the fence,
That's not,
it's a little less than,
it's a little less than like a football.
well, no, it's a little bit more than 500, but it's close to the 500. But remember, the noise, the safety law from the police department is it's 500 feet from your residence foundation, the closest point to the, I'll call it the artillery range. To not where the gunfire, where the person stands.
Yeah.
They can stand close to their house, they can stand a little closer to you. They shouldn't be 400 feet, 300 feet.
Yeah.
If they're 490, first of all,
It's not.
you're gonna try to go out there and measure it and say, you're in violation of the 500-foot rule by 8 feet, I'll probably think like, no police officer gonna do that. It's gonna say, looks good enough to me.
Yeah.
You know, they can assess 500 feet. Most people can figure 500 feet.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Get one of those like the walk, like the
Well,
track
no, what you can do
walkers
is they like $2,000, $1,000, probably cheaper now. You have a laser, you shoot it, it comes back, tells you what the distance is. They have construction ones for short distances, but they have ones for like when you're doing highway construction, pipe construction in a trench. They can go 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, 500 feet. Oh wow! So
Police department has the wheels
they do, yeah.
for the
Well, they already
actual
went out.
reconstruction.
They already went out and they said there are no violations from the thing. The key thing is, town council gave us state Supreme Court and Supreme Court of the United States, and this is part of your Second Amendment thing. So
Yeah, that's tough.
I told her when she talked to me, I said, listen, I feel every day someone's trying to violate my Second Amendment rights. And while I'm living, you will not do that, which is right now H2R44. They're trying to now take pre-ban and confiscate them. You know.
Oh, that's what that is? Okay, I've been seeing all those.
I've sent it to Mike and a few other representatives, senators, said, you better do something about this. You know. Or I'll make sure you're not elected next year, because this law violates my rights, you know. Yeah. My stuff is registered with the police department. When I brought it into from Rhode Island to Massachusetts, I registered it. I have a lot of pre-ban, so those are all logged in. I'm allowed, if I want to sell it, I gotta go to FFL. I have to go to an FFL person. I want to sell it.
Yeah.
The kid said, get rid of it. We're gonna throw it all away. So you can't. You know, if I die and you don't want any of these things, turn them into the police department. That's what you have to do.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't give them away, sell them. Can't give them away either. It's like, you know, marijuana. You can't give it away.
Exactly.
You know, so, anyway, so that's it. So I guess we'll just table that and Laura, get Rick the noise ordinance from Bellingham. So
Okay,
the
no
bad news
problem.
is it is a zoning bylaw, so it'd have to go to town meeting.
Okay.
And I don't know who will petition, Tim. Certain residents. But I gotta admit, she's creative. You know, I knew when she said, you remember MHP? And I said, yes. I knew exactly where this was going. And that document written, that's a Cheryl Sabara. You know, she's been our attorney for many years. But 2 years ago, she became the director of MHP. But she's still our state attorney. She used to be tobacco. Then she gave it to Justin, whatever his name was, the tall guy. And now it's Sarah Gould, I think. Anyway, but Cheryl now she just public health. So true, I had to go wild when the state approved marijuana.
Yeah.
And said, there was one at the training, MHB training. This is a brownie. You need a permit and a food permit for this. This is a brownie infused with marijuana. You don't need a food permit. I said,
yeah, you do.
over my dead body in this town of Bellingham, you have a dispensary and tell me you can't have a food permit.
But it's food. You need if
you
you're
drink
selling
it,
any sort of
edible in your mouth, other than if you're a child and you put feces in your mouth, that's not food.
Yeah.
That's because you're too stupid at that age.
Toys.
But what I'm saying is, if you put it in your mouth as a liquid, a solid, probably not a gas, but you know, technically it could be gaseous, it could be a food. You know, and what they did was recently, the new public health threat for marijuana is they put this thing on. Gotta believe this commission has no common sense, and they must think everybody in the real world is stupid, because they put down, well, we put on, it's not FDA approved or pharma, so we don't care if it causes a myriad of health conditions. We told you it's not FDA approved. I'm going, really?
This product has not been approved.
That just shows they are only in it for one thing, money. And you know, I'll say it this way here. The attorney general in this state sued the tobacco company for millions. She, I think it's a she now, still needs to sue the Cannabis Control Commission, and she needs to say, you're going to cause medical problems. You're going to cause police, you know, they still smoke it. fire to come to residents or to go to an accident because someone's drugged. And I don't think, that's a good thing, We have alcohol since 1920. Yeah, that's a problem. It is a drug. We have nicotine. That's a drug. We realize all the people in the healthcare that boost our rates is because they smoke. But a lot of them come on now and say, don't smoke, because you're gonna end up dying at an early age.
I remember all those commercials growing up.
Or you'll be
like,
kept alive medically, So I don't know, I'm just thinking, we're on Earth for a short time. And yeah, I was a kid and I did stupid things, but I try not to do things now that I know are bad for my health. Because it just, I'm getting older, so geez, you got 1 foot closer to the grave than when I was 20.
Well, I did a lot of research in marijuana
Yeah.
for like my like like I did a
Well, I did it with
education.
military. I was
Yeah.
a medic, so guess what I did? Drug check everybody every
Oh, yeah.
30 days. So
I
people
did-
hated me. Because, if you came
Yeah.
positive in urine, we do a blood. If your urine's positive, but your blood's not, you get a free skate. You get Article 15 with a penalty.
Yeah.
If you come up positive in the blood, you're dishonorably discharged.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You don't believe how many people, post-Vietnam, during Vietnam,
Oh yeah.
were discharged. Some of them came over there, they came back, but they were still active duty. And, you still have to do, first sergeant lines them up. Even the officers did it, everybody says, well, the officers, so they do. The officers get drug checked, It's a little different because, they'll really.
Yeah.
Vinny, are we good with the agenda?
Yeah, I think we're done. So I think we'll just table that information for now and deal with it later. Okay.
Well, I'll
Motion to
make a
adjourn.
motion
anybody?
to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so carried. Okay.
Have a good
So
night.
Laura, we gotta knock this thing down, take it upstairs, right?
Yeah, just as long as you give me the power cord, everything else can stay plugged in and just put it somewhere safe, please.
Okay, so the computer, the power cord,
And the mouse.
and the mouse. Okay, so Rick, you wanna help me with this?
And
Getting up there.
welcome, Dylan. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I can help you guys.
Okay, great.
I'm not in a rush.
Oh, you gotta log us out, right?
That's what I'm doing now.
Sorry.
That's all right.